MDC Stirrups, world leader in forward-facing stirrups.
Hi, my name is Martin Cohen. I'm the inventor of MDC Stirrups. Today we'll be discussing safety stirrups, but before we do, I'd like to give you some of my background. I've been a professional horseman for 50 years. I'm a USCF and FEI judge, course designer, and chief steward. For 33 years, I've been an expert witness testifying in court cases involving horses. I'm also an equine appraiser. With that in mind, I've developed a sense of horsemanship that's very broad-based. I bring this horsemanship to you today in our discussion of the good, the bad, and the ugly, and the deficits I find in safety stirrups. Before we start, I want you to know something. I do not want you to take my words and believe everything I say. Rather, listen to these words and think for yourself, do they make sense? Does this add up to the way I know horses and the behavior of horses and stirrups? And if they do, then you will have educated yourself today so that you can make a better decision for purchasing and understanding the functionality of safety stirrups. I'd like to mention something further before we go on. When I transitioned from making horsemanship and stirrups important in the United States, I went to trade shows. The first one was in 2003. For those that don't know, a trade show is a large building full of products and people. And they sell horse products of all kinds in this large convention center. And I went there the first day, and I'm walking around and I'm looking and I'm looking and I'm looking for other horsemen. And all I'm meeting are people that own companies, people that sell products. I can't find any horsemen. And then out of the blue, there's one. And I go, oh, and I shake hands and I find out this person rode in the Olympics. Oh, and here's another one. He's a famous bit maker, but he's also a horseman. And by the end of my years of going to the trade shows, there's only about 5 horsemen in the building. Everybody else is a salesman. So today, we're going to try to separate salesmen from horsemen and put it together with products to meet your safety needs and the demands of our current riding in the United States and Canada, and also all through the world. So let's begin. What are safety stirrups? Safety stirrups are made to facilitate and ease your exit from a horse when your foot is caught and you are drugged. This doesn't happen very often, but when it does, it's a very dangerous condition that could lead to injury or even death. I've been asked to make safety stirrups for many years, and I've always said no. But lately, safety has become more important in our industry, and I looked at the safety stirrups from an eye of an American designer. And I said, something's missing here. We don't have people that ride in safety stirrups in our conservative riding disciplines like hunters, equitation, dressage, all the flat classes, the breed shows. They don't wear safety stirrups. Why not? Well, I think the answer is they're ugly. And the people in those conservative riding conditions, they want something that's traditional, that's beautiful, and they're not going to wear something that looks like a French spaceship. So, zero. Nobody's made a stirrup for you until now. We have made the MDC SuperSafe Stirrup. We've patented and trademarked it, and this is a product that you'll be proud to wear in any conservative riding disciplines and others as well. The stirrup is correctly designed. It's a safer stirrup, but also it's a beautiful stirrup that you can wear and feel very comfortable in traditional riding conditions. Safety stirrups, what do? I asked myself, if you met the inventor of the original safety stirrup and said, how does it work? They said, well, when you fall off your horse and your stirrup turns back to the side of the horse as you fall backwards, you get caught in the stirrup. It doesn't happen often, but when it does, the stirrup catches you by your little toe. And when you are drugged, the swing arm opens and lets you out from this terrible condition. that's a safety stirrup. And I would say, excuse me, that's all very interesting, but I prefer not to be drugged in the first place. Do you have anything that could keep me from being drugged? And they would say, no. And I said, what do you mean? And they'd say, well, we have to catch and drag you for the product to work. Well, I wouldn't call that a safety stirrup. I'd call that a catch and release stirrup. It has to catch you, drag you, and then release you. Let's consider, how would we design a stirrup that would be trying not to catch us? Well, if we created a stirrup that has a forward-facing characteristic and face the front naturally, that stirrup, when lost, could turn back and grab you, but it's not going to turn back at the same rate as a stirrup that is designed to be flat. So a stirrup that's forward-facing is less apt to catch you and reduce the tendency of being caught in the first place. Let's call that proactive safety. Pro meaning before, proactive meaning before the act of getting caught, the stirrup is trying not to catch you. That's certainly advantage of has to catch you. The aspect of getting caught and the stirrup opening, that is reactive safety. The invention reacts to the dangerous condition. Proactive, it precedes the dangerous condition and lessens it. The MDC SuperSafe Stirrup is proactively safe, it is reactively safe, and it is designed to be worn in the most conservative riding conditions so that you can feel comfortable in the saddle with your tack and looking the way you've always looked. Let's talk about safety stirrups and how they're made. First of all, some safety stirrups open at the top, others open at the bottom. Well, which is more efficient? Let's go through a process and maybe we can figure it out. So pay attention, we'll develop our knowledge base. When you fall off a horse, and you have to fall off the horse for the safety stirrup to work, when you fall off the horse, if you fall off the horse over the horse's ears, safety stirrups don't work. If you fall off over the shoulders 90 degrees, the safety stirrup doesn't work because it doesn't necessarily catch and drag you. You have to fall backwards off the horse to get caught and drug, and you have to be drugged for it to open. If you fell off the horse backwards and the horse stood still, your foot would not open the swing arm because it takes force to open the swing arm, and that force only comes when the horse is running away and you're being drugged and your body weight opens the swing arm. When you fall off the horse backwards, your foot comes off the stirrup, you lose the stirrup, and there you go to the back of the horse. As your foot comes up, the stirrup turns to the side of the horse, and as it goes back, the opening gets smaller, and that's where it catches your little toe and opens. So where is that little toe as you fall backwards off the horse? Well, it's pretty clear to me that as you fall backwards off the horse, your heel pivots, and as your heel pivots, the little toe goes up, and that's why the opening should be where? At the top. So the upper opening is where your toe is when you're caught in that condition. Stirrups with an upper opening that open this way are correctly designed. They facilitate your exit out. Now, there's some stirrups that open at the top, others that open at the bottom. So which is preferable? I want you to know that we have spent a lot of time with engineers, other horse trainers, and my 50 years in the industry. We feel that a stirrup that opens at the top is preferable. And that's not an opinion, that's not something I heard in social media. This is something that our engineers and I work together to discover. Let's point out something that is absolutely a fact. In any safety stirrup, whether it opens top or bottom, there's two aspects to that open swing arm. There's the end that opens here, and there's the end that pivots here. This is the hinge. The force that it takes to open it at the top, whether it's top or bottom mounted, the force here is less than the force at the hinge. So if I push here, oh, it opens. If I push down here, I can't get it to open. This is called leverage. Let's think about it, leverage. I want you to imagine that we're on a big property with a large metal gate, and it's over here on a big heavy post. This large metal gate, we go over here where it swings open, and we push, and the gate goes open, and the gate closes. Now walk over here where the hinge is. You can barely move it. And that is the point that our engineers proved. We have the force records showing that the upper part is softer, the lower part is stiffer. So we've already shown you when you fall off the horse backwards, which is required for the safety stirrup to work, your little toe goes up in the stirrup. So that's why that opening should be at the top, because your little toe and foot will break that release there quicker because there's less pressure at the point of where the top fits to the stirrup. Down here at the hinge point, there's a lot of pressure and it's a lot harder to open the safety mechanism. Those that prefer, and please do if you want to, but those that prefer a stirrup that opens at the bottom, the hinge is now at the top. So when your little toe's up here, it has to overcome a lot more pressure to open the swing arm. This is not a discussion, it's fact. With all of that taken into consideration, if you're in a dangerous condition and your toe is at the top of the stirrup, I want to get away from the horse quickly. And to do so, the least resistance is at the opening and the maximum resistance is at the hinge. That just defined why the stirrup should open at the top. If you pick a model that opens at the bottom, your little toe is trying to overcome that maximum pressure up here where it's caught. I'm going to prefer and recommend that you choose the model that opens easier, facilitates your exit. Because if you get caught in a stirrup and drug, you've got a few things that you don't want to happen. Number one, you don't want to be injured. Number two, you don't want to be severely injured. Number three, you don't want to die. So, take every safety precaution you can. When the little toe is caught, go to the area which has the least resistance to the opening, which is here. If you're at the hinge section with a stirrup that opens at the bottom, you're opening it with the most force to overcome, which slows down and reduces your exit, causing the greater potential for you to be injured, hurt, or possibly even killed. So that's what we're thinking. We've got facts to prove it. We've got force studies to prove it. And it's just called leverage. So with all of this in mind, this is why I preferred the opening at the top, because it has all the benefits and none of the negatives. So we now know that a stirrup that has a forward-facing characteristic is preferable. A stirrup that opens at the top is preferable. Secondly, and along the way, the upper arch of the stirrup, traditionally, in horseback riding, our stirrups for centuries, the arch comes up and around very naturally, the nice big natural arch. I've looked at that for years and said, I wonder why that is. Well, I think it's because that arch is open to that shape and size because there's a second way you get caught in a stirrup, and that is when you're mounting the horse. As you mount the horse, if the horse bolts before you can get your leg over, you don't get caught by your little toe. You get caught by the toe of your boot. And if this arch here is nice and broad, you have a better chance for your boot to clear and not be caught in that secondary dangerous condition. If you notice, go to Google, look up equestrian safety stirrups, you'll notice that the aluminum stirrups and some of the plastic stirrups, the arch at the top right here has been intentionally narrowed. It's no longer an arch, it's starting to be more like a triangle. This is the standard of the industry, this nice big beautiful arch right here. When someone narrows that arch and makes it more of a triangle and does it intentionally, that could have legal implications. Let's talk about some legal concepts within the horse industry. There's three primary. One, horse activities are considered dangerous on their face. Two, no one can enhance the inherent danger associated with horseback riding. And 3, and this is the broadest point, if they do, they knew or should have known that they enhance that inherent danger and they will be liable. Narrowing of the top makes the stirrup more difficult to get away from. I don't think I would buy a stirrup with a narrowed top. And I suggest you add that to your knowledge base and make that consideration at the tack store. Let's discuss some designs that might not be working in your favor. There are some stirrups out there that are safety stirrups, and they have sharp spikes in the tread. In fact, the inventors are advertising, we have sharp spikes in the tread. Well, let's review. A safety stirrup is supposed to expedite your exit from the horse in this dangerous condition that could cause injury or death. Let's get away from the horse, and the spikes are saying, I want to hold you into the horse. What? What? They're putting something to hold you in the horse and at the same time let you get away from the horse? I don't think that's a good idea. I don't even know what they're talking about. So you might want to add that to your knowledge base and avoid that conflict. Sure, if you want sharp spikes in the tread, go ahead. You run the risk of being kept in your horse when you want to get away. But if you're buying a safety stirrup, that's not what you want. Add this to your base. When you go to get a stirrup, when you go to get a safety stirrup, use your common sense. If you like what you hear and it makes sense to you, then you can take that wall of French spaceships and bring it down to what is functional and helpful for your safety and your riding comfort. Now let's look at our stirrups. Our biggest selling stirrup from MDC is the MDC S Classic. This movement at the top here allows the stirrup to pull down and face the front. We've talked about the benefits of forward-facing stirrups in safety. They're not aggressively trying to capture your foot, but they're also more retrievable. And interestingly enough, this little bit of shaping to the front takes pain away in your knees specifically, but also throughout the entire leg. Now let's look at the star of the day, the MDC SuperSafe Stirrup. Right here. First thing you notice, it's got the forward-facing design. I have a question for you all. Is there any positive benefit from a stirrup that lays flat against the horse's side and returns to that flat position when lost? I'm waiting. There is no benefit. Having a stirrup flat against the horse's side has no riding benefit. And returning to that position has no riding benefit. But a stirrup that's shaped slightly to the front has all the benefits of position, comfort, retrieval, and safety. So that's why we have this design. That's why it's so popular. This hangs open, as we've talked about. Now let's look at the two stirrups together. Here's the original, the S Classic. Here's the safety stirrup. Let's take a look. I offer that they're exactly the same. Maybe a millimeter here too, but they look the same in the ring. This is the invention. I'm going to tell you something. It looks easy. It's not. It's also expensive. Let's put this down for a moment. Here's the MDC SuperSafe Stirrup. Boom. That's all there is to it. I jest when I say that's all there is to it. There's an awful lot to this stirrup. This took 9 months to make, professional engineers in the United States, and here it is. Closure, okay? We've already asked ourselves, what is the customer going to look for? The first thing in the store they're going to look for, is it beautiful? Can I wear it in the hunter ring? The answer is yes. In fact, during the year 2022 at the medal finals in the East Coast, 4 of championships were won in those medal finals using the MDC S Classic. You'll see the running S, that's our patented product. The next thing is we have a very nice wide tread pattern on our stirrup. It's high traction, but not overly aggressive. When you want to get away from the horse, you don't want anything holding you in. You want to get away, but this is high traction. It's got a very nice base on it that's more comfortable. gives you a better base of support, and keeps your foot in place again without keeping it there should you need to get away. Our first release will have 3 sizes of stirrups: 4.75, 4.5, and the Pony 4.25. Next year we'll bring out a 5-inch. Obviously, people that wear a 5-inch stirrup are larger and weigh more than people that wear a 4 1/4 type stirrup. With that in mind, and using a magnet as a closure mechanism, we have fine-tuned our 4 sizes to coordinate with magnets of different strengths. So each stirrup that you get will have a fine-tuned magnet pressure, so that the release pressure to get you away from the horse is tuned toward the projection of what the rider would weigh. This is what you can get now. We're releasing it in 2025. I hope you'll give it your consideration, but more than that, I hope you take the information that you learned today, apply it to your knowledge. You make some decisions for yourself. Don't let that room full of people that sells products tell you what's safe for you. Try to do it for yourself by what you've learned today. Our goal is to give you the benefit and knowledge of separating salesmanship from horsemanship. I hope you've learned something here. I hope you've taken this in. I look forward to everybody enjoying the new model. We appreciate your time and your loyalty to our products over the years. Safe riding. Thank you once again.